Welcome to Libraries Today. This program is intended to recognize and highlight the unexpected ways local libraries serve their communities today. I'm your host, Stan Howe. We're here today at the West Virginia Library Association's annual Spring Fling Conference in Flatwoods. With me now, the WVLA Public Library Division Chair and Spring Fling Coordinator, Amy Stover. Amy, thanks for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
So I guess this is an exciting time for the WVLA.
Very exciting, very busy.
So tell me first a little bit about yourself. You've been with the WVLA, I believe, 13 years?
Yes, 13 years. I started at the age of 23 while I was still getting my master's. And I've been with the library since I was 22, almost 23, I guess I should say.
Almost 23. Don't exaggerate now.
No. I don't want to knock off those 6 weeks.
Let's talk a little bit about the Spring Fling. Give me some background on it. What are you trying to accomplish with it? How long have you been doing it?
Spring Fling is much younger than the fall conference. In years past, all we had was one annual conference, and you either made it or you didn't. And as you know, a lot of libraries are very small staffed, and they couldn't always get away for a 3-day conference. So in the end, the Children's Roundtable got together and said, hey, we really want to put a day on of conference just for children and youth services. And that was the start of Spring Fling. And it gradually got more and more popular. It was smaller, less expensive to attend, and a little bit more communal feeling. And that's where we are today. And it's grown to 2 days.
How many years have you been doing it?
I am not sure. Honestly, I don't know. I believe it was sometime in the 90s that the Spring Fling actually came into being.
So it's been a while.
Yes.
One of the things I noticed as we were walking in today, that there are a lot of librarians here.
Yes.
What kind of numbers are we talking about?
We're looking at about 200 attendees.
That's a lot of librarians in one place.
Yes, it is. Be careful out there.
What's it designed to do for the folks who do attend? What are the benefits that you want to see them come away with?
We want them to get a little exposure to programs and ideas that maybe they haven't considered for their libraries. Not everyone can afford to attend the ALA or the PLA conference, and we want to bring a little of that here. It's training, it's mingling, it's brainstorming, and it's just meeting your fellow librarian. I know that I'm from Southern West Virginia, and without these conferences, I would never meet the people from Morgantown or the people who are at WVU or Marshall. And it's just a way to get an alternative way to look at libraries.
2-day conference, a lot of topics are going to be discussed. Can you kind of give me an overview of what librarians and the public can expect to see?
Okay. Today is kind of our general services day. It is open to academic subjects. We have a fun session going on now called Weed. It's not illegal, at least in libraries. We are having some fabulous services being brought to us from the, the Division for the Blind. They're going to tell us about some new advancements in serving people that are visually impaired, print impaired, that are available through the Library Commission. And there's a great session I'm so excited to have coming from WVU called Preserving West Virginia. A lot of libraries do work in historical and genealogical societies, and I think that'll be a big hit.
Well, Amy, it sounds very interesting. I guess we're going to be hearing a lot more about it as we go through this program. And
yeah, if you stick around tomorrow, you're going to learn about Minecrafting in libraries and green screen programming and all sorts of fun things you may not think about.
Well, it sounds like a lot of fun.
Yes.
A lot of librarians in one spot.
That's right.
Amy, thanks for filling us in on this year's WVLA Spring Fling.
Thank you.
One focus of this year's Spring Fling is the history, the record keeping of West Virginia, which are both very important to libraries all across the state. Here with me now are presenters Danielle Emmerling and Lori Hostetler to talk a little bit about the West Virginia and Regional History Center. Ladies, thanks for coming by.
Thanks for having us.
Well, first talk a little bit about the center, about yourselves. What do you guys do?
Sure. I'm Lori Hostetler. I'm the Assistant Director of the West Virginian Regional History Center at WVU Libraries. I have a master's degree in history and another master's in library and information science. So I'm a librarian and an archivist. the West Virginia Regional History Center is an archives and special collections. In my role, I handle day-to-day operations, I do teaching, reference services, and I work a bit on digital collections.
Yeah, and I'm Danielle Emmerling. I'm Assistant Curator, Congressional and Political Papers Archivist. I've been with the center for almost a year now. I previously worked as a Congressional Papers Archivist at the University of Delaware. I have a master's in information science and a master's in history from Indiana University, Bloomington. And my primary job at the West Virginia Regional History Center is managing our congressional papers.
So from just the average person's perspective, what does the center do?
Well, the center preserves the history of West Virginia and the Central Appalachian region. So that means that we collect papers and other materials that represent that history, and we make it accessible to people from all over West Virginia and all over the nation.
Tell me about your presentation here at the Spring Fling.
So the presentation was called Preserving West Virginia, and we provided an overview of the collections that we hold at the center. So we talked about our rare book collection and archives and manuscripts. I talked about our congressional and political papers, and Lori talked about our digital collections at the center.
And you mentioned the digital collections. We were talking a little bit about this earlier, that you have a digital collection, but you have a lot more of actual hold in your hand kind of archives.
Absolutely, we do. Our collection is mostly actually physical items, the papers, the diaries, newspapers, photographs, and the kinds of things that Danielle mentioned. We have been working towards digitizing and making those available to the public, but the majority of the collection is still in physical format. So we want people to come and visit us. We have people there, specialists who are that's their job, and they're really excited to help people do their research.
And one aspect of the research, I know it's very popular today, genealogy, right? Everyone's looking about, trying to figure out, where did I come from? Who am I? How can you guys help with folks looking for that?
Well, genealogists are a large part of the folks who come to the West Virginia Regional History Center. And practically all of our resources would have some benefit to people researching family history. We have a great collection of newspapers from all across the state, and you can find obituaries and newspaper articles there. We also have county court records. We have family history books. We have genealogy collections that other genealogists, where they've gone out, done the work, done the research, compiled family trees, interviewed people. They've donated their papers to the West Virginia Regional History Center, and now they're available for other people to come and access. Our photographs collection, and which is partially online, partially available only at the center, also is a way that sometimes people find images of long lost ancestors that they'd never seen before. So genealogists are a core group of our patrons.
And you mentioned the photography. Is that the digitally, is that your biggest digital online
It
area?
is. Our largest digital collection is West Virginia History on View, and we have over 50,000 images available there now. It's a fully keyword searchable database, and we have things from all across the state. You can type in your last name or the city where you grew up, and there's a really good chance there's going to be some photographs that you've never seen before available there. And you can download them. We have a way you can order prints, or you can order digital scans, and it's just really a gem of our collection.
Danielle, you had mentioned congressional and political papers that your specialty, it sounds like.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about that.
Sure. So congressional and political papers at the center are the personal papers of elected officials at both the state and national levels. We have more than 24 collections that document about 150 years of state history and congressional service from 1861 to the present. Most recently, we've acquired two really large congressional collections, the Senator J. Rockefeller collection and the Congressman Nick Joe Ray Hall collection. And both of those are about 2,000 linear feet. So that means there are about 2,000 archival boxes. They're very large collections, and they're very rich resources for anyone studying U.S. history and government and policy.
Well, it sounds like the center is a real gem that maybe not everyone realizes is there. What kinds of things do you guys do to kind of get the message out?
Well, we have a website that's part of the WVU Library's website, but if you just Google West Virginian Regional History Center, will come up. We do have a Facebook page that's under West Virginian Regional History Center, and we share photographs and other information there. We have a blog that we update weekly, and we do little stories on pieces from our collections in the blog. And then, do you want to mention your Rockefeller?
Sure. Well, we also have the digital collections as well, so we try to put a lot of materials as much as we can online. There is a Rockefeller digital collection where just this week, actually, we released his legacy memos. These are memos that his staff wrote about his career, his service, and accomplishments, and they're a comprehensive overview of that collection. Those are now available online. We also do exhibitions within the library. So again, we opened a Rockefeller exhibition this week that is also an overview of his career, but we do lots of other exhibitions within the library as well. And we do a lot of outreach to students and faculty too. So we work with, Lori works with public history students quite a lot. I'm working more with political science students. With the political papers. So we try to provide that service to the university community.
Okay. Danielle Emmerling, Lori Hostetler, thanks for being with us from the West Virginia and Regional History Center.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Now it's time for a short break. When we return, we'll be speaking with Ashley Corin and Chanel Pickens about libraries and K through 20 education. We'll be right back.